You don't want Bob Lager live. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. Today is November 17th, 2022. We have an agenda that we're going to follow, and the first item is Austin Bohm, 672 Union Valley Road, renovate existing house on same footprint. Please state your name and who you're here to represent.
My name is Austin Bohm. I'm the property owner of 672 Union Valley Road. I have been before this committee to be signed.
Could you just take the microphone, just show us what you did? All right, so there are no changes in scope of work, order of work to be performed, or reasons for wetland permits. The following additions and notations have been made to the site plan. Construction parking on 6 Mill Poly, where's that?
No, it's okay. I'll just count you down over the speakers. Yep.
No construction parking, wetland buffer. Okay, spill kit? Okay. Construction sequent, wetlands inspector, site and erosion controls.
All right, everyone, please unmute your microphones. You will be live in
Said it
3,
twice.
2,
So
1.
you really must be wanting to do it. Fill used within wetland buffer will include certification of clean fill.
And we also actually noted that that's not going to be necessary, but excellent.
Trees to be removed during construction, you identify 3 trees to be removed. Soil stockpile,
Indicated over there.
refueling area. Should be near the curb.
Yeah.
And construction parking outside wetland buffer. And you did the calculations for the area disturbance, and what was that? Okay, so you're gonna have to do a SWIP. Right, you need to submit the SWIP to the town engineer for review and approval. We need a copy for our files. We'll review it, he'll give us his blessing, and then, but we need that approved as well. You don't need any other just asking, not that I'm here, you've checked, you don't need any other permits besides us and the building department?
And also the permits which have already been issued and approved for this from both
Okay, for the county.
county and the state.
No DEP, no,
Andrew Laporte, 944 Peace Scholar Road, Putnam Valley, New York, 10579. Right, I'll raise my right hand.
and can you just show me again where the wetland buffer is again?
It's a stream, so it's not actually a
It's an-
wetland.
It's an intermittent.
Yes, you asked for a few additional,
He doesn't need flags. Okay,
Not wetland.
anybody have any other questions?
Just the SWIP, that's all it's rest.
Okay, so then, do I have a motion? Does anybody have any questions, Anthony? No. Ed?
No.
Nicole? Do I have a motion to accept, the application submitted by Austin Bohm, the 672 Union Valley Road, renovate existing house on the same footprint? Do I have a motion?
So moved. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so just submit the SWIP, and then, once you're on the clock now, so you're gonna probably come back here in about 4 weeks, sometime.
I will
nothing's
just
changed since
note
last
that
time.
after you get your SWIP, if the approval requires any changes you will have to come back before us. I mean, any changes to your plans or the erosion control measures or anything like that, you'll have to come before us, and we need to accept it again and put it back on the top, because there's some changes to the actual plan itself. Just so you're aware, you probably know this from reading our code, but what this process now is, it goes to the public, and we give the public about a 30-day
8
period
weeks
to
total.
provide any
Yeah.
comments on the proposed plan. If there are no comments and no changes after you
Twice,
come back,
actually.
then you give the permit.
Yeah, usually start May, done by the end of July.
It's your call. We haven't traditionally seen that or asked for that.
All right, nice job.
Very good.
You may have a career as an engineer or
Yeah,
something.
you have to come back more often.
Oh, we
Well,
mean for
there's
other
a-
projects,
I
once you finish this one.
Yeah, some.
There's the limit is 18 that you're allowed
Be a
max, so
consultant.
that's, I think, where the rule comes in.
Okay, next is Bullet Hole Farms, 360 Bullet Hole Road, tree harvesting. Please state your name and who you're here to represent.
My name is Christopher Prentice. I'm forester for Lower Level Forestry.
Correct.
Representing Farms Incorporated.
25 would be in the coop, or they'd be in basically a tub with lights on them to keep them warm when they're young. Well, they're in the cage. They're not really free. Yeah,
Sir, please speak into the microphone.
sure. It's okay.
I have marked 739 trees on the 200 acres. Ranging in size from 10 to 40 inches in diameter. Equates to approximately 14 trees per acre being removed. 182,134. The harvest is going to remove mature and over-mature timber, and it is the first stage or shelf harvesting. The next stage would probably be somewhere in 7 to 10 years from now. Would be the second stage. There is a DEC classified wetland, OL 52, that occurs in the eastern portion of the property,
I moved into the property when I was in 5th grade, I think.
from east to west.
Yeah. I
Stream crossing permit. The DEC said that stream corridor is actually a classified wetland. I disagreed with them, but
I used to live in a different property off of Wood Glen Drive, which is in Putnam Valley.
traditionally I would have had a stream crossing permit.
Yes, I have.
The application. They said that I would need an Article 24
It would be by the pole barn,
permit, but they didn't want to give me that.
depending upon the weather.
You. And once you start the secra, then they could make the decision of if they would give me an
Well, they're not really stuck. There's plenty of room for them. You wouldn't want them out. I mean, we have hawks and all sorts of coons, and it's better, it's safer for them.
his phone number and email are there.
What?
He told me that once the board started secret,
This type of bird, which is called a Cornish cross,
wetlands have been
it becomes kind of lethargic, I guess is the proper word, and doesn't really, it's doesn't really run around.
the project is within the
Yeah. If I wasn't to process them, they would theoretically die within 2 to 3 weeks after my time frame, because they outgrow their body size.
see any issues with that as long as we follow the best management practices for more than 1 year. There was some state historic records that came up for the property. You'll see a letter in there from the Historic Preservation Office saying that there wouldn't be any issues with the project.
It would be in a shed or the pole barn. It needs electricity, so more than likely the pole barn.
Is to follow the state best management practices for timber harvesting.
Okay.
Yeah, in the past, I've had I see you have an 8.5 by 11 here map layout. They need something a little more detailed in terms of, you have a topo on the area as well? I mean, because last time we've had a very large tree project that you did, you gave us a topo of how the land was. I mean, is this on a hill or is this a flats?
What are the, what are the grades that you're going to be working on here? Anything above 29?
Oh, so you're working on a hill, more or less.
It's a fairly gentle hill, though.
A lot of minimum in the wetland area that's shown here on the wetland boundary. You know, we'd like to have silt fence installed along that perimeter of the wetland boundary, the areas where the hatched area is for the harvest area, right? I'd like to put at least a silt fence along that area, and this one,
Correct. Hi.
well, that's higher, this is lower.
Nicole
so at
DeRosa,
least the front
189 East
of
Lake
the
Boulevard.
wetland Over here,
How,
down.
Nicole
far is
DeRosa,
the
189 East Lake Boulevard,
wetlands
Mahopac.
from the boundary of where you're going to be operating?
We
I
left
do.
100-foot buffer.
You did, so aside from the stream
I
crossing,
just got a letter of
all of the
violation.
work that, all of the
and
tree
my
felling
property
and
is
disturbance is going to be
100 feet
more than 100
long,
feet
but
away
only
from the,
24 feet wide.
from the wetlands, that's to the,
24.
east. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would be, yes, it's the buffer in there.
The shed was built in 13, so 9 years ago, and no, did not. And the pergola's been there about 8 years.
Confirms that the wetlands
Same thing.
delineated properly.
Right.
To go back out there and verify that that's correct.
Okay.
What I went off of when I marked it was old wetland
I mean,
flagging.
to move it, maybe $1,000, $800,000.
Years ago, that was still there.
Yeah, I mean,
Changed much over that course of time, but, like I said, that will be verified tomorrow. Go back
yes. No,
Got it.
They
So
have the
our
same
two,
issues.
it sounds like if you're fully outside the buffer,
Yeah.
and I think that we should have some sort of a delineation or protection to make sure that machines, skid trails, workers, none of that ends up within the 100-foot buffer. So there needs to be a
Yeah,
delineation of the outside of this, on the eastern side of your entire border with the wetlands. That's one of my concerns. But aside from that, it sounds like the only two other considerations that this board needs to have are that stream, protecting that stream,
Right.
which there is a 100-foot buffer on either side of that stream, that's considered part of that, as well as the general following best practice the best management practice of New York State for tree harvesting. Does that sound like
Yeah,
the
it
scope?
sounds reasonable. I mean, that stream doesn't seem like a very large stream.
Is there a picture of it? Some pictures.
I have pictures, there's no wetlands, vegetation present, it's rocky, there was no water in it at the time we took the picture.
When was that? How long ago?
This would have been,
Do you have details on your bridge crossing? I apologize. Do you have details? Can you provide
I
details?
don't, I mean, I
Good
can,
evening.
but I wanted to see what the DEC,
Joel Greenberg, 2 Muskie Road, North Mahopac.
my original plan was to put in a
Absolutely, I do.
skidder bridge.
Well, this is a very unusual situation, and let me start in the upper left-hand corner here. We applied for a permit with the building department, and at the point where they were ready to issue the permit, Mike took a look at this survey. He said, something is wrong with this. And he's familiar with the neighborhood, so he knows the area very well. And he said, I want to make sure that this survey that I guess you got when you bought the house? Yeah. When they bought the house, this was the survey they were given, and it showed that the house was 48 feet from the front yard, which is obviously a lot more than the 40 feet. Anyway, to make a long story short, we went to a local surveyor and had it surveyed and found that the survey that Mr. Judge got when he bought the property was totally incorrect.
Foresters report inspection of the actual area to be done, got that. Site plan, which we do need a site,
And we found
Yeah.
that
Site
the house
plans
was
include
actually,
delineation
instead of
of areas
48
including
feet, was only
forestry operation.
39.5 feet from
Board may ask for
the
delineation
front yard.
of the to-be
And
cut
therefore,
clusters on the site
obviously,
plan.
that's
There
the
are
reason we
any
came,
high-density
and we're here,
cutting
we're here
areas,
before you for the variance.
noting on the plan if
Basically,
areas
as you can see
excluded
from
forestry
the
operation,
picture on the lower
general
right-hand corner,
location of
what they're
skate trails,
proposing to
water
do
bars,
is to add a second story onto a
erosion,
portion of the
water
house,
bars, general
which is this
location
part of
of
the
that
house over
golf
here,
course
you can see in the
depending on site
picture.
condition, but I think we
The
look
other
at
part
it.
of the house will remain the same, there's not going to be any change to
Right,
that.
with the grade.
So that basically, the variance we need is, because the survey that they were given was off by a lot. And this survey obviously is certified and signed by the surveyor, and that's the reason we're here before you tonight. Also, as part of the project, as you can see from the floor plan, there's this open porch in the front,
Right, of course.
which you can see over here, with a
Do you have
railing
any
alongside
concerns
and a
about
series of
any
columns,
steep
which gives them
slopes or steep
protection
grades
to
in there?
go on to the
Leaching
entrance to
areas
the
specifically?
first floor of the
Plan on
house.
using any,
So basically, this was
doing
all
any
all came
hand
about
cutting,
because of a
opposed to
survey that was done. I don't know when it was.
trails
There's
with,
was no date on it, so
high-grade
but it was
areas.
done, and obviously very much incorrect, and therefore we're here before you to get the variance so that we can actually put the addition on. Well, also, I know the next question you're going to ask, and the answer is yes. The only two people that would be affected by this is the house directly across the street, and if you've been to the site, you'll see that if you go across the street from the judge's house, there's a pretty steep hill, so the house directly across the street is at a much higher elevation than our project, even after we put the second story on, so they can still see beyond and above the house. And there's really nothing behind there. It's just a lot of utilities and stuff, big open spaces, so their view will not be affected at all. And the other person is the one directly to the left of the house, and they've also been spoken to. Both parties have been spoken to, and they've indicated that they have no problem with the variance. That's correct. That's it. It's an open porch. Yes, for aesthetics, yes. Yeah, yeah.
So I'll continue, because there's definitely some things I did not see that we normally ask for, like the types of machines being used.
Oh, yeah, we need to see fueling area.
Right. So project narrative must include, so this is something we haven't actually run across in a while. A note about the forester of the town of Carmel approving the commencement of operations and postponing operations if unfavorable environmental conditions exist.
Right, I mean, if it's raining, so they're cutting trees, they would stop.
Right.
Right.
So we have, yes, so you'll need a note in your plan that you've submitted that says that's what we asked for, a note that the town of Carmel forester can postpone operations if unfavorable environmental conditions exist and commence them, approve the commencement of them afterwards.
Do you have a copy of that?
That,
When I submitted the application, Rose gave me the application. None of that is in what she gave me.
this is in our
Code.
This is in our code, so that she does have up in the office a couple of things of understanding a guide to understanding your local wetlands ordinances. And I think there's probably a one for tree cutting as well.
If that paragraph that you want is in the code, then I can find it on page 60.
Yes, yeah, it's there. Yeah, that hasn't been changed yet. Plan for following New York State Forestry BMP Field Guide, and explanation of any deviation from this field guide. Skid trail maintenance and abandonment plan, I think that's what we were just talking about, which I didn't see any sort of, that in here. We will need that, including seeding disturbed areas per DEC guidelines. A note on mulching tree tops, scrub / whatever that, the slash of it's called. What are you going to be doing with that? So you're cutting that down, leaving that there? Okay.
Do you anticipate large clusters of trees in certain areas, or will it be fairly evenly distributed throughout? And
It's not a clear cut.
and are you going all the way up to the ridge line, the top of the property? Does it reach the ridge line? And do you anticipate more cutting up there, or do you anticipate more cutting on the top of the property, or?
Saying they want all sorts of permits from my shed on my lake shore. The shed's been there since 1961. Excuse me?
Project dates? When are you planning on doing this?
Well, I would imagine that the plan would probably be sometime.
No, not a violation, no.
April or May. The way I
Yeah, isn't it from the zoning board, Mike?
probably not gonna be done until at least January.
But they told me to appear here tonight, is what I'm saying, that's all I'm saying. The letter. I believe it's the zoning board. It's the same thing that you're having trouble with all these people on East Lake Boulevard.
Details of the machinery to be used, which typically
I didn't fill out an application, no.
Where are you gonna store the machines at night? In the area? On Poly?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll see you this coming week.
Because you're right by the buffer,
All right.
right? By the
No,
wetland?
okay, no problem.
Yeah, so if you're within the buffer, because no matter here, you're
I'm an
still
old-timer.
close to the, you're in a wetland, so if you're gonna store your equipment in the staging
What?
area, just park it on Poly. This way, in case it leaks.
A note about no fueling in the buffer. I have a note here mostly for your benefit, which is a note on impacted community aesthetics and noise pollution. While not required, the public and property abutters often raise concerns about possible noise pollution and unsightliness. Addressing this early can speed the project along. It may be useful to include the rough location of property abutters and their structures on the site plan.
So, if you go to the ortho map, you'll see that the way that this property is actually situated. There is no houses anywhere near.
Just down there.
It just looks like that one right there on the northwest. Yep.
There's one far southwest corner on the other side of the gas line. Everyone else is either far setback or on the other side of the property where there's no
And this is clear cutting, right?
No, this is not. This is a selective harvest.
Selective.
As far as aesthetics go, I know there's a good view of the hill itself from other residents that may not abut the property. Will that be impacted at all?
Well, I mean, there will be debris and slash on the ground, but, you know, in terms of large openings or things like that, there won't be anything like that.
So it won't be visible from a distance then?
Do you have any idea of the rough percentage of the trees that are gonna be impacted on this property with this one, with this cutting?
That are being removed, you're saying?
Yeah, like of the total amount of trees on the property, how many are being removed?
Right here.
I know, I saw how many were being
Volume
removed, but
report.
of the total acre, like the total number of trees on the property, you get like a percentage.
Oh.
10% of the trees are being removed, 15%, whatever it is.
So, it's a fairly mature stand that has, somewhere around 60 to 70 trees per acre. So if you're removing 14, you're removing approximately, 15 to 20% of the trees.
All right, since we gotta do a seek, whatever, my brain is fried today.
We will also need a detail of the road entrance. So I have a note here, a bunch of notes here on the actual movement of machinery through this. Detail on the fortified road entrance, the route plan, road safety plan, approximate number of truck loads that you are anticipating, highway department approved truck list, and any road bond from the highway department that's necessary. That all needs to be submitted. Have you talked with the highway department yet about this? Okay.
I talked with Richard about a year and a half ago about this project. So
So they may or may not, depending on it's their purview, ask for a road bond to ensure that the safety of the road there and the construction integrity of it. However, what we have, he may or may not, essentially anything that they ask for, the highway department in conjunction with this project, we would want that submitted with us as well. In the past, we've had plenty of residents concerned about road safety, trucks in smaller roads, and so having some of that either squared away or set up before we go ahead and have any sort of inquiries from the public will be very helpful.
Do you-
So just west of the landing, there's actually a stop sign. So that does help with road safety. And I know in the past, maybe not in this town, but in other towns I've worked in, we've made provisions where trucks can't be on the roads during when school buses are coming and going. It's fairly common request, so, I mean, if that's something that we wanted to do, I'd be okay with that.
There is an elementary school nearby, so I don't know if you anticipate that road being, Austin Road being the route the trucks will be taken during school hours, or will they be headed easterly?
I'm gonna have to really take a look to see, I mean, obviously they can't head towards, the Taconic because of the truck, so I'm gonna have to take a look to see which way.
Okay.
It's easier.
I'd like to see details also of your stream crossing. If you can provide details on that.
If driven by the property, there's an access gate. Is that for just a maintenance road or just for surveying purposes, or it looks like the first 50? It's on Bullet Hole Road. There's an access gate. It looks like just the general path has been cleared.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
that's
been
on the
for,
other side of the property.
Licenses.
Has he picked out a contractor yet?
Yes.
As we just need to know who it is, their current insurances, stuff like that.
License.
License.
Is it only one contractor being used for this?
Yes.
All right.
So for the insurance, you just want to find names.
Yeah,
Insurance.
yeah. Or just even a copy. I don't need to be additionally, I don't think we have to be additionally insured. I just need to see a copy that they have insurance, that's all.
Liability numbers.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else on mine. I mean, that's a number of things, right? So let me, do you have a list of items?
Yeah, I have, show silt fence on the drawings, provide details of the crossing, you know, describe the skid trails, how, you know, whatever, how wide, whatever. Fueling area, type of equipment being used, detail the stream crossing, I said that already. Boy, you just knocked one off your list. Note that the town forester can postpone operations and approve startup. Store the equipment on poly. How many truckloads we anticipate out of there. Check with the highway, see if you need a highway bond. Or spill kit. Contractor's name and insurance.
Contractor's name, insurance, truckload.
So then how do you want to handle the stream crossing?
Well, the stream crossing, what I'd like to have is, you know, basically pick the area where you're going to cross, and then it's one of two things. Either you're gonna throw in two temporary culverts, you know, two temporary pipes, you know, plastic pipes, you know, 24 inches in diameter to make sure that the water flows through. You're gonna cover it in gravel. That's one option per the thing. Or if you're gonna use a large mat, I'm fine with that as well. Just show me, you know, I'm not looking for a foundation detail or whatever. Just say, you know, mat here, mat here, mat here. And then upon leaving, we'll take the mats with us.
Right. But how do you want to handle it with the DEC?
Well, you're meeting them tomorrow, right?
No, I'm not meeting them. They're just going out to verify the stream or the wetland buffer or the wetland delineation is done correctly. What I was told was that when I put in the stream crossing permit, typically a stream crossing permit's pretty easy. It's 5 days and you get the permit. They kicked it back and said, no, that's classified wetlands that you're crossing. You then are going to need the either Article 24 permit or whatever the town says you need to do.
Are they waiting for the secra from us?
That's what they said.
Okay, so then we have to have a public hearing, right? So that's part of the secret process. And address these items, by next meeting or whenever. Once you address them, then we'll accept the application. We'll advertise it. We'll see if there's any comments from the people. I'll tell Rose to put it out at that meeting as a public hearing. We'll hold a public hearing. If nobody shows up, then we'll go ahead and then we can go ahead and approve or disapprove.
Right.
So, but as far as the stream permit is concerned, crossing the stream, I would like to have something in detail what your plan is, and then this way I have it in the folder that when the wetland inspector goes out there, after you install it, we'll have the wetland inspector check it. Then if he says it's suitable, go ahead and go, then we go ahead and go. I mean, you could ask the DEC, if we're the final authority of approving it, I'm fine, we're fine with it.
I mean, it'd be much better if you were, because the Article 24 permit it's nothing terrible, but you have to post it in the newspaper, there's a 30-day comment period, there's an application fee, so I'd much rather just have the town do it as opposed to the state.
I'll check with our legal folks about this and see which way they want to go.
Okay.
So it's Article 24 versus us.
Right. So when I originally put in the Article 24 preliminary paperwork, he kicked it back and said, no, you need to talk to the town first and see what they want to do. It's the first time they've ever done that, so it's new to me as well.
And who at the DEC have been talking
That was
about?
Mike Grasso. So his name and email address are on the letter.
Okay, I'll take this, I'll give him a call.
Fun. Homework.
Yeah.
I have a couple other items that, just for your list, that I caught as well, are pictures, if you have them, and dates of those pictures, add them to the file.
For the stream
For
crossing.
the stream crossing.
I have
Yep,
those.
please.
Yep.
Approximate water bar locations based upon the grades
Yep.
on the map. A narrative for the final cleanup, so maintenance, skid trail maintenance and cleanup. So give us a little note that says how you're going to be handling that. Make sure you have project dates somewhere in here, approximate, they don't need to be perfect, but saying I'd like to do it in the spring, around April, May, starting this, that would give us good details. And then my last thing that I brought up before is the delineation on the eastern border of no work beyond the point. So some sort of indicator to anyone who's doing work, the contractors who are doing work, of the extent at which they can be cutting, bringing any machinery down, making sure they're not going in with that 100-foot buffer to the street, the wetlands themselves on the
Yeah, well, I want
eastern
silt
side.
fence, we asked for silt fence along the.
Where did you want it?
I mean, I don't know how silt fence is gonna be terribly feasible along that stretch.
I'm talking
I mean,
about-
a
Well,
bunch
I'm
of
not talking
it.
about the stream, I'm talking this
Oh,
area.
you're saying along
This
this
area, I was
entire-
thinking of running it all along.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty tough. It's rocky in a lot of those areas, so.
It's
So
got,
what about hay bales or something?
Well,
'cause that's
I mean, if
down-
you're gonna be
down
cutting
slope.
outside the buffer,
Well, you're
You're not-
really inside the buffer, because if I go from here, if this is shown by you, wetland boundary,
Mm-hmm.
if I go 100 feet, 1 inch equals 660.
Yeah, that's it. It's
So
hard to see where it
it's,
is
you
here.
know, all right, so maybe it's quarter of my finger. You know, you're
Close.
close to
slope.
it. So, I mean, you can have it, can you have it as a running, movable, as you remove, definitely by the landing area.
oh
you
yeah,
have
I mean, the
to.
proposal for sure is near the landing area and going out, but, I guess it could be done where feasible. Like I say, there's areas there where it's rocky, you're not gonna be able to bury the silt fence like you're supposed to.
Okay,
So,
so definitely near the landing area.
yep.
All right, let's go, I mean, is 200 feet past the landing area reasonable?
Yeah, that's feasible, for sure. And then when you're asking for delineation, you're talking about physical ribboning out,
Flag,
saying,
yeah, something.
don't go
that-
past the blue ribbons.
Yeah, fine, that would be great.
Okay.
Something along those lines where the workers out in the field here, no, don't go past that. Don't
Right.
drive your trucks past that, chainsaws, all that.
Okay.
All right, this is gonna definitely have a public hearing.
Oh, no, I'm fully aware of that, and I'm fully prepared for that. I mean, you've
Been
seen,
there, done
you
that.
two have seen some of
Yeah.
them, so, yeah.
Yeah.
When I had the well, what was it? Southeast Town
Yeah,
Board?
the one on the,
That was a good
Oh,
one.
yeah, that was
So,
a good one.
Yeah,
and I think we were here for like 3 hours.
Forever.
yeah, that was
And
probably
we're still
about 7 or
breathing,
8 years
we're
ago.
still
Yeah,
breathing the air after
We have
the
people here-
harvesting.
Oh, yeah,
It's
with
amazing.
Southeast, there are people from here from Southeast. Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah, so,
That was where I got most of my notes about what we asked for from project narratives for these kind of jobs.
yeah. She then went to the town of Southeast and tried to, she wrote this crazy ordinance on her own. She doesn't know anything about forestry or logging and tried to pass it in the town. So I found out about it and I went there and I fought it and the town board said, you know what, you've got a good point. And they never passed her, or her code, so, yeah. I said, if you're gonna pass a code, at least have a professional write it, not just some normal person, so,
Yes.
All right.
yeah.
All right, so get us the stuff, and then when it's complete, we'll ask Rose to come back again. We'll review it. I'll call the 2 calls I have to make, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for the agenda tonight. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Good night, and everybody have a very happy, healthy Thanksgiving to you.